Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is not getting nearly the play that it deserves, which is why this show exists, to ensure these things are not missed. Everybody focusing on dissecting Biden's post-electoral college vote speech, and then Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor yesterday congratulating the president-elect Joe Biden and the vice president-elect Kamala Harris. And we're supposed to get into a big to-do about the terminology, and rather than just let the dates play out as the dates are set, as they are playing out. The Zoom call this week, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris on the call as well.
Yeah.
And these self-styled black civil rights leaders, which are just black race identity hustlers with titles that put Joe Biden up. NAACP, honchos, and the like. Left-wing black activists, like the good Reverend Raphael Warnock down in Georgia, the pro-choice reverend. The reverend who compares Republicans who vote for tax cuts to King Herod murdering children to get to Christ. Truly. And we have the audio. But this call is remarkable because of Joe Biden trying to out race hustle the race hustlers who put him up, and getting a little testy that he would be questioned by these individuals. How
dare you approach me that way kind of attitude?
If you're black and you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. Remember? And if you're black and you question Joe Biden, then you ain't black. Then, well, in Joe Biden's words, the hell with y'all.
But it's like when I named it, well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. But because it's real. It's real. So all I'm saying is look at us, judge us based on what we do.
I love the Delaware colloquialism, too.
Well, corn pop's coming out,
If doesn't work for y'all, then the hell with y'all. This is like Hillary Clinton at the Edmund Pettus Bridge channeling James Cleveland. I ain't no ways tired. That's not patronizing, though.
Not at all, no.
Don't think that for a second.
Form of solidarity. I'm with you.
And
when
look,
I talk like that.
Joe Biden doesn't have time for the NAACP's Derek Johnson.
Because the success of this administration will be the ability of the Senate to confirm your nominees. We have an opportunity here, and we want to make sure we seize upon this opportunity and allowing for the input necessary. 10 more appointments to go. A lot of people in our community are getting a little anxious because they are not seeing enough of the progress they thought they would have seen at this point. Let's not disappoint them, and let's not get to a place where voters in Georgia begin to second guess.
Okay, let me respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay, number one.
NAACP General Counsel Sherilyn Ifill is up next. Sherilyn Ifill is dutiful, and she's playing her part. She was on with Rachel Maddow last week. We played it agreeing with Rachel Maddow that Trump campaign officials should be put in prison. She's an officer of the court for daring to challenge the election in a legal way through courts of law. But okay. But she's on board with the whole program. But, they want more, too, and he's not taking it from Sherilyn Ifill either.
Extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years as a United States Senator. Before, Sherilyn, you were even involved.
What have you done for me lately, Sherilyn Ifill, while I'm out there busting my hump for black Americans, right?
You're on notice.
You know who Joe Biden is? He'll tell you who he is.
You've never seen me shy away. In the middle of the debate, I called him a racist. In the middle of the debate with him, I took on white supremacists. I'm the guy that took on every single time somebody was threatened in this country. The only white boy you know who did it, period, out there. Every single time. So look, all I'm saying here is, guys and ladies, we're on the same exact page. The same exact page.
The only white boy out there battling white supremacy, is that right? The only white boy who had the courage to call Trump a racist. Everyone on the left has called him a racist, and you were just the last man standing. Everyone on the left who was running for president would have been happy to be in your position and call him a racist on stage, too, however illegitimately, just as you did.
That's cringeworthy.
Oh, he's not done.
Oh, no. Oh,
Look,
please,
look,
not-
look,
This is so uncomfortable.
hey, guys and gals,
Oh.
he did you a favor.
It ain't worth the job if I can't say what I believe. I didn't want to run this time. I ran this time because of the racist son of a gun who was president of the United States of America. That's why I ran.
So just say thank you and be satisfied with what you get. I got to say, these are wildly entertaining exchanges for me because there's no white hat in this story. Okay, it's not like oh how dare he do this? No. And Joe Biden isn't standing up to identitarianism either. Don't fall for that. This is a race hustler in Joe Biden telling the race hustlers who put him up, hey, mind your manners. There's nothing redeeming from either side in those exchanges. But it's just so delicious. I mean, this is the snake eating the tail of identitarian politics because that snake because yes, that snake, meaning Joe Biden, has so many mouths to feed, so many tails to eat. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by Rabbi Shmuel Klatzkin. Rabbi, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
A pleasure to be back with you again, both of you.
Well, I just want to, you don't have to adopt my view on that, but I wanted to get your reaction to those exchanges between Joe Biden and some of the heads of the NAACP and other allies of Joe Biden and the left.
Well, Amy put it very well, calling it cringeworthy, but I've found Biden has delivered on cringeworthy statements consistently for many, many years, beginning when I remember first paying attention to him at the Bork hearings, and but I was recently reviewing the way that he handled Menachem Begin, the Prime Minister of Israel, when he was before Biden on the Foreign Affairs Committee back in the early '80s, and plenty of cringeworthy stuff back then too. So it's a great theme in the gentleman from Delaware's political career.
Well, and you've written recently about the idolatry of identity politics, and I mean, it seems to me that this is a wonderful real-world case study in exactly that. I mean, both sides hold identity politics, identitarianism up as their idols, and they're just arguing about who's doing more to advance it.
Well, idolatry is appropriate because, I mean, the human identity is set up by Genesis to be a sacred thing. What's at the core of the human being, as Genesis 1 puts it, is the divine image, and this way that people who are after power try to get at the deepest things and make them controllable, make them buyable and sellable, make them to be tokens for power, is perverting the deepest things that we have in who we are, and so idolatry is correct. It's not just idolatry in worshiping another god, but it's in perverting that divine image that's the core of who each and every human being is into something that is far less than what it is. It's a terrible, it's a deep sin, and there are consequences to messing with it.
I just another real example to make this concrete for people. This from the Claremont United Methodist Church that gets a pub every year around the time of Hanukkah and Christmas because they do these nativity scenes where they make political statements. Last year was Jesus and Mary and Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus in a cage to protest supposed Trump immigration policies. This year, it's a whole Black Lives Matter nativity scene, and I just the sort of intellectual gymnastics you have to do to make identitarian politics make sense, where one aphorism runs into the other and there's no actual thinking going on. The person who created the display this year is a gentleman named Gennaro Cordova, who's the church's groundkeeper. This is in Claremont, California. And he said that he understands that some people might be put off by Black Lives Matter and all the I can't breathe and am I next and all these other messages that are associated with the nativity scene. But he hopes it prompts discussion about how people can better understand the issue. quoting him, some people comment to me, why just black people matter? And I say, of course everyone matters, but at this time, we just want to say that black Americans matter. We need to be united and not see only our differences first. So by focusing on race, we're uniting and not seeing our differences first.
The gymnastics, as you put it, can be amazing. It's a real yoga position that one can get into over it. I mean, the point is, of course, that there can be a real germ and kernel of truth inside all of these things. People have something to speak about. But when you get it into the hands of people who are willing to distort it and put it outside of what it truly can mean for all of us, and use it as a tool to bring more power in their way, then we lose the ability to have a real discussion anymore. We start spouting these slogans, hands up, don't shoot, and where there's no truth at the core of it. When there are issues to discuss. There are issues around which all Americans showed they could unite. We saw that last summer. There was things in which 95% of people agreed, but that was quickly taken over by people, by the hustlers of identity, by the perverters of identity, to really push the idea of identity off from that place where we are all together, to bring it to an advantage of a few, and not really care very much about what it means to everyone else. And that doesn't.
Oh no, continue, sorry.
I'm listening.
Oh no, I was just awkward moment. What do you think the future is of the Black Lives Matter movement now that President-elect Biden and Kamala Harris will not sit down and talk to them? They were demanding meetings, and they're not going to do that.
I hope we can get to a real discussion instead of what's passed for it. People yelling past each other with their slogans and thinking that that's sufficient to deal with who we are as Americans in our particularity and in our universality. I hope we get somewhere better. I think there's going to be a lot of disillusionment, as there usually is when there's buyer's remorse. And maybe we can get a real discussion going. Yeah. That's my hope.
Well, I think it's well-placed hope, because it would be difficult. It would take real work to get to a more idiotic place we are in the discussion than at present, it seems to me. And I'll tell you what, and the same goes for religious liberty, but for the Supreme Court. Yesterday, the Supreme Court, building on its decision in the Roman Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn v. Cuomo, issued an unsigned order siding with the Colorado Church in one case and a Catholic priest and a rabbi in New Jersey in the other, sending back those cases to lower federal courts, instructing them to inform their holding on restrictions on religious liberty, inform their restrictions on religious liberty, I should say, with the court's decision in that case versus Andrew Cuomo. I just want to get your reaction to religious liberty, particularly in this holy holiday season, and how thin that line is, because if it was left to the politicians, they would be adopting, it seems to me, the Governor Ralph KKK Northam position of, hey, you don't need to be in the pews in order to worship. Hey, you don't need to be in the synagogue in order to worship. Somebody who's obviously not a person of faith, otherwise they would recognize the folly of such a statement.
Well, it's not that I believe they are people of faith. That's not willing to say what it is because it's so different and than others, and it would give up their pretense that they're somehow ruling from a place above religious commitments. No, it's a very specific kind of faith that they have, and they want that to be the established religion. But you can't say that out loud. But I'm so happy about the Supreme Court. It's going to be, I think, one of the great accomplishments of the administration, much as maybe the one-term presidency of John Adams might be best remembered for having put in Marshall there and having an enduring legacy through Marshall's rulings. But there's no more fundamental freedom than the freedom of religious liberty, and I am deeply, deeply encouraged by the way that this court has voted so strongly and consistency in its short amount of time with the newest justice here on the issues that really matter to certainly to me, and I think to so many Americans. I'm encouraged.
He is Rabbi Shmuel Klatzkin, Associate Rabbi of the Chabad of Greater Dayton, Ohio, and adjunct professor at Antioch University and Senior Editor of Curriculum at JLI. Rabbi Klatzkin, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
A great pleasure always.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
I want Christmas. Just give me plain baby Jesus lying in a manger. Christmas.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Since I've been taking it, I can actually wear a pair of sandals because the pain sometimes would be so bad I would never wear a pair of sandals. Now I can drive the car with sandals. My feet don't hurt me. I used to go to bed at night and my feet used to keep me up all night long. No more. My feet haven't bothered me since I've been taking this. I could even walk barefoot, which I could never do before. I really feel great. I really, really do. I feel like I used to feel, you know?
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
All right, listen up, you procrastinators, you guys out there. Christmas is a week from Friday.